My name is Ant-Man Moto, and this is going to be my channel. It was literally the first moment of hopefully thousands of videos. You got to start somewhere, right? This is literally the beginning. It is a beautiful day here at Atlanta, Georgia. I'm about 15 minutes east of Atlanta in a little town called Lithonia, who were recently renamed Stonecrest. And I haven't really seen the effects of that yet. Alright, we're on the Black Dragon. I have two dragons, a black one and a gray one. The Black Dragon is a 2018 Aprilia Tuono 1100 R squared, and it's got the Aprilia high flow air filter on it. It's got a Leo Vinci slip-on, and it's got the Aprilia racing map. And you know, stock these things make 175 horsepower, so it hasn't been dynoed, but it's noticeably more aggressive than it already was stock. In stock, it's just holy crap aggressive. So this is a really fast, amazing machine. I love it. I've had it about a year. I've done a couple of track days on it, and of course mountain riding very regularly. Like just last weekend I was there recording some stuff, but the footage didn't come out great because my GoPro was not set up right. And what I learned was, if you have one of these purple panda mics and you're trying to moto vlog, you've got to turn off your intercom, your Bluetooth in your helmet. I've got a Bluetooth in my helmet, and I was actually connected to some of the guys I was riding with, and it was, while it was neat and it was cool and we were laughing and joking, it was causing terrible crackling in my audio when I listened to it later on that night. I was really disappointed because it was some good footage, but I just think the audio is too screwed up to post it, so I might put a little example of it here. Ducati. You don't see too many of those around here. About me, I've been riding off and on my whole life, pretty much, since I was 12, and I'm a middle-aged man now, let's say. I've ridden dirt bikes, street bikes, had some dual sports. I've had track bikes, well, one track bike, an R6. I had that until about 2006 or so, and then I crashed at Jennings, and it was a high side. It was a bad crash. Well, I'm self-employed, so the last bike I had before this one, I've had two bikes for a while now. The last two bikes I had was a 2008 Kawasaki Versys 650. Which to me is one of the best bikes you can have for just all around fun. 100% just all around fun. And then at the same time, I also had what was the other bike I had? I had a Tuono, the 2007, the V-twin version of this bike. Everything that happens, good and bad, with that bike, it's because of your own riding. Where this thing is loaded with electronics. The traction control is on 1, and ABS and ALC are on 2. Wheelie control is off because I like to wheelie sometimes. Those are the two bikes I had before this. Now, and at the beginning of COVID, it was just before COVID had started, actually. I was looking at both of those bikes and I was like, I love these bikes and they're great, but I had the Versus since 2008, and it was 2019 when I was like, you know, I think it's time for a new bike. I just looked at the bike and I was like, you know, I think it's time for me to get something new, you know. And I kind of felt the same way about the Tuono. I loved it, but I had it since 07. And at the time, you know, it was 2019. It had been 7 years that I had the Tuono. So I said, you know, it's just time to get a new bike. And I just sold them both. I put them both up for sale, sold them both. And I was wanting a bike not everybody had. You know, everybody had the the MT10. Everybody has an MT09. Ducatis are beautiful bikes, but you know, they're very common. I wanted a bike that you don't see every day. So I immediately started looking at Suzuki's naked bike, the GSX-S1000. And I fell in love with it. You know, I loved its aggressive styling. It had a GSX-R1000 motor in it. So I found the GSX-S1000 and I made an offer on it. It was actually, I bought it out of North Carolina at a dealership, and he stands behind. It's like 30-day warranty, all that. And I got it from him. Got it for, I don't know, I want to say $768 to $7, somewhere around there. And as soon as I got it, it was just like love at first ride. I was loving it. Plenty of power. You don't see them everywhere. It fit the bill. Fast forward, that was in September of 2019. Fast forward to January, February of 2020, I had noticed that I was losing power on that bike. Now, if any of you have a GSX-S1000 and you have had it flashed and you still have the cat in the bike and you flash it, let's say you're running a slip-on and you've had it flashed. I don't know if every flash is like this, but I had mine flashed at Schnitz Racing. It made the bike run rich. That's what Brian said when he put it on, Brian Livingood, when he put it on the dyno. He said, well, your bike's running super rich. And so what ended up happening was, because of that rich running condition, it caused the material in the cat to like swell up and clog just the breathing of the exhaust. It turned into like a big web, a clot, instead of a free breathing webbing, which is what it's originally designed for. That rich mixture just caused it to like meld together. So you have to cut the cat out and put a $70 mid pipe that you can get on eBay on that bike, and then get it flash tuned, and your bike will run amazing, which is what I did with my bike. But when I took it in, it was, I don't know, I want to say it was like February, March. It was around March, like the end of March. I took it to Brian, and Brian had the bike for 2 weeks before he even looked at it, I think. I mean, he is super backed up, super slammed. COVID then happened. Like, COVID unfolded. We were locked in place as my bike was at the thing. So I was without a bike for, you know, weeks, a month, you know, and I would call him. He was considered a vital business, so he was able to go to work and work on the bikes, thank God. or I wouldn't have got my bike back when I did. But all the time that he had my bike, I was like, man, you know, I really would love another, like to be riding right now. And I just started looking at bikes for sale just to see. I had access to some capital, and I, you know, it wasn't burning a hole in my pocket, but I was like, you know, what if I got a Tuono and just, you know, just gave up on the Suzuki? I mean, I don't know, my brain starts doing some really weird things when it comes to motorcycling. I don't know about you, but I just get like real creative, and you could call it a waste. I waste energy on motorcycles, thinking about them, dreaming about them. What should I do? What should I get next? I mean, but I know a lot of people do that. So wow, I can't believe the amount of cars that have been in front of me this entire time. Way, wow, look at the lake. Isn't it pretty here? This is Lake Capri, Lithonia, Georgia. I love it here. I ride through here all the time, and just, I was just looking at bikes, and I saw an Aprilia, and I said, you know, it was in New Mexico. The price for this bike that I'm riding at the time was $9,200. It was it's a 2018, and at the time it had like 5,000 miles on it, so it was pretty new. And you know, I bought it from a very reputable dealer there that was selling it. It was, I think it was consigned there or something, and they'd gone through it, and they said, hey, this bike is clean, it's mechanically sound, and we stand behind it. So I bought it, and I arranged to have it shipped, and it got out here, and that was April of 2020. Brian still had the Suzuki, and when I tell you he had that bike for like almost 2 months, it was kind of ridiculous, man. I mean, I love him, and he does great work, but man, I mean, he had my bike for a month and a half. So once the Suzuki was done, though, it ran like the amazing. Once that mid pipe was in and he did the tune, it also has a Power Commander 5 on it, so it was a tune flash, and the Power Commander was tuned. That thing went from, when it went in, it made 94 horses at the rear wheel, which is like anemic. Those things are supposed to make 140 stock, but it went from 94 the rear wheel to 160 at the rear wheel. So, you know, this thing, just the power was night and day. And so, you know, then I had a dilemma. Do I sell the Suzuki? Do I keep the Aprilia? These are great problems to have, by the way. These are the problems I relish having, and I'm very thankful to have that kind of a dilemma. And what I decided was to keep them both. So I now have a 2017 Suzuki GSX-S1000 that I call Gray Dragon, and I have this 2018 Tuono that I call Black Dragon. Because when I look at them in the garage, I swear they just look like dragons. They're beautiful machines, and they slay whatever's in front of them. And so that's why I call them my dragons.